Okay, let's get started. We're going to warm up for about 5 minutes. Then I'd like to share a little Torah on Parshat Beha'alotecha. We'll keep practicing till quarter of the hour, and then we'll have some time for Q&A. So take a comfortable seat. That could be seated in the chair, or it could be propped up on a block or a blanket. Let's just take a couple of shoulder rolls, inhaling the shoulders up toward the ears. And as you exhale, draw the shoulders back. Squeeze those shoulder blades toward each other, and then let the shoulder blades slide down the back. Let the hands just be easy. You can have them anywhere you like. They're just going along for the ride, elbows and hands. You could take this in your own time, in your own breath, but it's inhaling on the way up and exhaling as we go back and down. You can pause at any point in the circle. Really take your time and feel the movement of this whole shoulder girdle. That is collarbones out to the outer end of the shoulder. It's the shoulder socket and joint and the upper arm bones. And it's the shoulder blades, and it's all the attendant musculature, really including everything from the neck. You could even notice how this affects your jaw. It's just really allowing some mobility, whatever is available to you, and that's different for each of us in this shoulder girdle. Just I realize whenever I do this how limited and restricted we can become, especially when we're sitting at our computer, many of us for a large portion of the day. It's really good to open this up. It helps very much to the respiratory system, to the lungs, to the rib cage. And then when you're ready, you can pause. Just let those shoulder blades slide down the back once again. Feel the length of your neck. And then allow the right ear to move towards the right shoulder. You can give a little nod with the head, a little nod, yes. And you can take any variation. You could be here, you could take that right arm up and over the head, give a little gentle tug. If you want a little more sensation through the left side of the neck, you could also flex through that left hand, extend it if you'd like. Just see what you need in this moment. And then inhale, release, let the head float up, and exhale the left ear to the left shoulder. Same thing, feel those two sitting bones grounding down. Be in touch with that even as you stretch through the head, neck. And then I think I forgot to say also, this little nod of the head can be a nice one. And then come on up. We'll take a little side bend, inhaling up and exhaling, side bending to the right. Feel the grounding of that left sitting bone. And then inhale up, we'll just windmill over. Exhale, take the side bend to the left. Extending through the right arm. Inhale, come on up. And exhale, just land. We'll take a twist. If you're in the chair, you can do it as follows. You don't have to move your chair, I'm just doing this to show you. Sit to the right side of the chair. Let the knees be in line with each other. Inhale tall. And then as you exhale, twist to the right. You can take hold of the back of the chair, pressing with the right hand and pulling with the left hand. And feel the spine in one line. Sitting bones grounded, tailbone to crown lifting with each inhale. As you exhale, you spin into a little more twist. All the vertebrae in line, including neck and head. You can take the gaze over the right shoulder to whatever extent that's possible. Really lengthening and twisting the whole spine from bottom to top. And then you can release and come to the other side. Legs to the left side of the chair. Both sitting bones grounded down. Inhale tall and exhale, spin to the left. So it's press with the left, pull with the right. Inhale, make space through the torso, space between the vertebrae. And exhale, spin. And really let the guidance come from a deep, deep place within. But how much to move, when to move. Take this time to turn off the mind and really let the body's wisdom shine forth. And then you can release as you're ready. So as I said, today's the 11th day of the month of Sivan, and we're in Parshat Beha'alotecha. Beha'alotecha comes from aliyah, oleh, la'alot, laha'alot, to raise up, right? So it begins, God spoke, Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh spoke to Moses, saying, speak to Aaron, say to him, when you mount the lamps, when you raise up the lamps, let the 7 lamps give light at the front of the lampstand. And Aaron did so. He mounted the lamps at the front as God had commanded Moses. So the question is about this verb, behalotcha, in verse 3. Aaron did so. He mounted the lamps. He'ela neroteha. He lifted up the lights. So the use of the verb is interesting because it could be lahadlik. To light lamps is to light a candle, lahadlik, ner, right? But it's laha'alot, to raise up light. And so we can really look at that. That's one beautiful piece of the parsha. There's a lot of wonderful scenes, many distinct scenes in this long portion. That's the first of them. We're going on throughout this book to talk about a lot of instructions for the Levites, for the priests. There's also a beautiful scene a little bit later on about the cloud that covers the encampment. Chapter 9, verse 15, on the day that the tabernacle was set up, that the Mishkan was set up, the cloud covered the tabernacle. Kisah anan et hamishkan. Right? And also the tent of meeting, and in the evening rested over the tabernacle in the likeness of fire of Esh until the morning. So it was always so. The cloud covered it and appearing as fire by night. When the cloud lingered over the tabernacle many days, the Israelites observed the Lord's mandate, God's mandate, and did not journey on. But when the cloud lifted, they would know to move. And we know this, of course, from the end of the book of Shemot and the end of the building of the Mishkan. This is kind of a repeat scene. Why? If the Torah is never repeating just gratuitously any words, this idea of moving in harmony with a loving presence, right? Living from a question, we can live from a question, what would my inner compass tell me? What would love do? What would my higher power do? What would divine tell me, right? However we call that for ourselves, whatever language we use, but to connect in some way to this sense of Anan consciousness, of cloud consciousness, we could call it. And we want to look at that today, being in that state of understanding. I want to share with you a little bit from Yael Levi, Rabbi Yael Levi, Directing the Heart, this book that I love so much. Before I do so, though, I want to also share a couple of other things. Another moment in this parasha is Miriam and Aaron gossiping, and Miriam being struck with with leprosy, and Moshe calling to God for complete healing of his sister. The words El Na Rifana La that we're so conversant with, that we know maybe from Mishaberach Lecholim, the prayer for healing for the sick when we're in the synagogue. The other little scene I want to highlight is how much doubt we have and how hard it is to trust. Right. So this juxtaposition of the cloud and the Aish, the fire covering the Mishkan, is like this clear sign that we have. That the divine source is with us and loving presence prevails. It's like a shiviti, right? Like a guiding source for us. In contrast with that, very soon after that, the Israelites complain that they don't like the manna, and that they want meat again. And Moses is really in the middle of this intense complaining from them, and has to be the intermediary between them and God. And so it's this, can we work with our complaining nature and maybe try to move a little more robustly into our trusting nature, the sense of the Anan guiding us. It's a little bit of poetry from Yael Levi on this Torah portion. Raise up the light, sound the trumpet, and go forward. If only it were that easy. This being human is so complex. Regret, doubt, and fear arise and produce cravings that masquerade as truth. And we go astray and get lost again and again. I am here, the divine calls. I'm so close. I'm in the clouds of confusion, and I am in the clarity of vision. Look for me, watch for me. In clouds and in fire, with subtle signs and extraordinary visions, I'll guide you. And even as you get lost, led astray by thoughts, circumstances, and fears, I will continue to shine. And I will remind you with my presence that there will always be opportunities to return to the path. I will lift up lights to remind you that no matter how far away you are, how lost, how unsure, how broken, I will help you return to presence. I will help you find your way. Confusion and clarity will arise and pass. Peace will come, as will contention. The path forward will appear and then fade from view. And through all of it, I'm with you, even as confusion reigns and fear and doubt persist. I will lift up my lights and illuminate the way. So let us seek to illuminate our lights together, open some space in the body, and find some trusting space in the body. So let's come to the wall for starters. We're going to do a series starting of 3 positions. So the arm is at shoulder height. We're going to start by flexing the hand at the wall and having the fingers pointed up. The second thing we're going to do is turn them to the back, and the third thing we're going to do is turn them down. So you can start on either side, send your hand to the wall, your whole palm, spread the fingers, press the palm into the wall to the extent possible, right? So this can get a little bit nervy for some, and if so, you don't want to have any burning or shooting pain, God forbid. You'll stop if you feel any of that. So try to keep your whole palm in contact with the wall. Depend how much flexion possibility you have in the wrist. The hand is shoulder height, and the palm presses away. The eye of the elbow starts to lift up towards the ceiling, in the direction of, right? Fingers are pointed up. Be here and breathe. Seems like a simple action, but can be quite intense. Stay with it. Notice where your shoulder is in space and your shoulder blade. Be attentive also to your feet, just keeping a nice, stable mountain pose. And then when you're ready, turn the fingertips to face back. So you're opening. Same thing, shoulder height. And be here and breathe. Notice how it is in your jaw. Can you soften 5%? And then turn the fingers to face down. We're getting different nerve channels, different openings. See if you can be easy through your body. The only real place of efforting is through extending the arm, the wrist, and really opening the whole palm to the wall. And then release. Just notice how that is as you turn to the other side and take the arm out. And again, it's the palm facing up. You want to find just what's the right, perfect amount of pressure to the wall. Finding your edge. The eye of the elbows moving up towards the ceiling in the direction of, right? It's not going to fully reach up to the ceiling, of course, just directionality here, spreading and opening the surface area of the palm to the wall. And then turn the fingers when you're ready to face back. You can stay on any one of these longer as you need. Notice where's your mind. And as it wanders, which it's bound to do, you can just bring it back to sensation right here, right now. And then turn the fingers to face down. Really open up the wrist, the elbow. And don't fret, if any of this is really too activating for the arm or for the nerve channels, it's just information. Just back off it. You can just note how it is. And then when you're ready, gently release. Just pause for a moment in mountain pose. You can even soften your eyes or close your eyes if you'd like. Just feel the result, the reverberation of that simple but not easy exercise. And we're going to take one more. So that was really kind of like for the nerve channels, the brachial nerves, right? But we're going to move a little more into the pec muscle now. So go back to the first side, and the hand comes to the wall. You can stay bent or a little more towards straight. See what works for you. This time what we're doing is turning the toes and the body diagonally towards the opposite corner of the room here to really start to open up through the pec. And you start your hand at about 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock, depending on which side you're doing here. So if you imagine a clock face on the wall, you're going to just move your arm down along that clock face. So from 1 to 2 to 3, etc., or from 11 to 10 to 9, depending on which side you're at. And do it slowly. Just stay in one spot 15, 20 seconds or so, and then crawl your way down the wall. We're looking to find sensation, feel sensation in this upper chest, shoulder area. Notice if anything begins to tighten in your breathing. See if you can keep it easy and smooth. And then when you're ready, come on off the wall. And we'll turn to the other side. So again, your arm is on this diagonal going up, and then you turn your body to the other diagonal here, to the corner, toward the corner of the room, as much as it's possible to open up. Might be very different on the second side, you'll see. Keeping whatever amount of bend in your elbow you need or would like. Start to come down the wall, again holding 15 seconds or so in each spot. And just notice, this might feel soothing and good. It might feel quite intense in the upper chest. See if you can stay with it without closing down, shutting down, tightening, or mentally leaving the scene. See if you can stay right here in breath, sensation in the body. You can also notice if you get bored. Sometimes when things move slowly, we just get bored and we shut down in that way. Can you stay with it, be curious, be interested? Where am I feeling alive right now? Great, and then come off the wall whenever you're ready. We'll take a couple of standing poses. So if you'll grab your strap, I'm going to kind of make use of what we just did in this opening in Warrior Two. So for the moment, you could just put it on your neck for a sec. We'll take the legs wide. And we'll start by going to the right, turning the left toes in and the right toes out. And let's just start hands on the hips, just bending and straightening a little to get ready to prepare to come into this Warrior Two. Just warming up in the hips, in the groins, in the legs. Good, and then bring the arms up shoulder height if you're able. Palms are facing down, fingers are spread, and you're really lengthening out from the shoulders and dropping the shoulder blades down the back, taking the gaze over the right fingers. Inhale here, and then exhale, come on into the pose, couple of breaths. Ground those bottom tips of the shoulder blades and widen the collarbones. And then come on out, and we're going to add this fun little move with the strap. So you're going to take the strap like pincers between thumb and forefinger, and then lengthen out so the strap is taut, and you have it behind your neck across the top of the arms here. So we're really just giving ourselves a little prop to feel fully the lengthening through the wingspan and the lowering of those shoulder blades. Inhale here, and then exhale, come on into the pose. Just notice how this is. Be easy in the jaw. Raising up your inner light through expansion of the chest, expansion of the arms, and ease through the shoulders, neck, and jaw. And then inhale, come on up. You can let the strap go. We'll turn to the other side and do the same thing. So first of all, hands on the hips, just bending and straightening of that left knee. And then bringing the arms up at shoulder height and coming into the pose. No strap this time. Just feeling how it feels. Seeing that the knee doesn't come past the ankle and the back leg is straight, of course. A couple of breaths here. And then come on up. And then once again, grabbing the strap between thumb and index finger, really finding this length and this grounding of the shoulder blades, right? So very much I feel it as an opening of the collarbones and a grounding of the shoulder blades, front body and back body simultaneously. Inhale here, the strap is taut. Exhale, bend your knee, come on into the pose. The fingertips are extending long in both directions. So it's like as if we could break the strap. Just pulling these two sides away from each other. And notice how it feels in this variation. And when you're ready, you can straighten the front leg and come on up. You can put the strap down, heel toe, or jump the feet toward each other or together. And just pause in mountain pose with the arms loose by your sides. Notice how you feel. You might even keep in mind the visual image of the menorah with the spine as the centerpiece and the arms and the legs as, extensions from that candelabra, but particularly thinking of like the ribs moving out and the arms going up, and just considering how you're making space and raising up light from the center of the chest, from the crown of the head, from the fingertips. And just notice how it feels after all these lovely little movements, potentially to have a little more space for breath to live and animate us, for the lungs and the rib cage and the diaphragm to be affected. And then we're going to bring that chair back if you had it, or you could use blocks or a desk or anything like that. We're going to do a supported forward bend. Feet hip width apart, hands to the hips. Inhale, press the feet down, lift the center of the chest up. Exhale, fold forward at the crease of the hips. It could be hands to the chair or forearms or the forehead coming down. You want to come down with an extended spine, a long spine, not a rounded spine. Right? Finding length wherever you are, drawing those thighs back in space. When we draw the thighs back in space, we're really making room for the pelvis to come up and over the tops of the thighs, right? So for the pelvis to turn. So as we draw the thighs back, we're also encouraging turn and lengthening in the pelvis. And then from there, we might feel even a hollowing of the abdomen, a lengthening of the abdomen. And then when you're ready, stamp the feet down. Inhale to come up, lift up. And exhale, come back to center. And we'll take a wide leg forward bend next. Either can have hands to the chair or hands to the floor, to blocks, however you like. Jumping or stepping the legs wide. Outer edges of the feet in line with the outer edges of the mat. Toes turned in just a little bit. If that's on your menu, on your personal menu, it may not be. That's okay. That's just fine. Lifting the inner ankles especially. Inhale and lift the heart up. And exhale, fold forward from the crease of the hips. Hands to the chair or hands to the floor. Same principle, right? Draw the thighs back. Let the pelvis turn over the tops of the thighs so that the belly can hollow and lengthen. Just find that length and you'll see how far you want to come down. Maybe you want to stay in this 90-degree position. Maybe you want to bring the head down. You decide. Be here and breathe. It's that Anand consciousness, right? The idea of the cloud that helps you know when shall I move and when shall I stay, right? So this is on the micro level. In this pose, when shall I stay put and when shall I move, right? So when shall I break camp, right? When shall I stay in camp? So when you're ready, come on back up. And when we can learn to do that on the mat from pose to pose, all of a sudden, we realize, we see, I've been practicing yoga 2 years, 3 years, and it starts to creep into my life off the mat. That I know when to move, when to make a decision, when to stay put. Kind of starts to come to us with some amount of clarity. So come on to the floor. Spend the rest of class to the floor. You can use the blanket for your head if you would like. And we're going to start with constructive rest, with the knees bent and the soles of the feet on the floor. The elbows out to the sides, and the palms resting on the hip points or the low belly or the low ribs. Keep the eyes open and alert. And see where you can soften. And just let the torso give to the support, yield to the support of the floor. This is the essence of underdoing and practicing underdoing, or just softening, melting, whatever word you want to use. Just notice if there are any places in the body that are activating unnecessarily that maybe you can consciously begin to ask that they unwind. And then as you're ready, draw the right knee to the chest, give it a hug. You can take hold at the shin, clasping, or behind the knee. And left knee can stay bent, or you might like to extend it long, right in line with the left sitting bone. And flex through that left foot. So your standing leg, so to speak. Continuing to keep it activated and grounding through that left thigh. Inhale here, and exhale, draw the navel to the spine as you begin to lengthen the spine and curl up, moving the forehead towards the knee, just engaging the core, getting some heat. You can even take that left leg off the ground if you'd like. Really lengthen out. Just let the core engage. And then exhale, release. It's really nice for the thoracic vertebrae as well as for the abdominal muscles. And then grab your strap, place it around the heel of the right foot, and extend the right leg up towards the ceiling, as if you could step the foot onto the ceiling. You'll see what your hamstrings want, the back of your leg, in terms of lengthening out the leg. You might want to keep more bend on it. Wherever you are, there's a bit of a micro bend on the knee. Excuse me. Let the arms and shoulders be easy. And then when you're ready, release the strap. Keep the leg up there, point and flex through the foot. And then make circles with the foot. One direction. Opening up that ankle, the other direction. Good, and then squeeze the toes, spread the toes, and squeeze the toes, and spread the toes. And then point through the toes as if somebody's pulling on your big toe. Lengthen that right leg and super slowly release it to the ground, engaging your core muscles as you do so. It's feeling that lengthening of the leg pulling away from you. Good, and then when you hit the ground, you reach the ground, give a little roll out, shake out to your legs, both legs. Let them be a little wide from each other, and then pause that movement and just notice how it feels in your legs after working through the right side. Does one feel longer than the other or heavier than the other? Just notice what there is. And then we'll take the other side, so giving the left knee a hug towards the body. And if you'd like, you can lengthen through the right leg and flex through the right foot. Again, heel is in line with the sitting bone. Inhale here. Exhale, navel to spine. Long from tail to crown, and then start to curl up in length as the forehead moves towards the knee. Right, so we're not just crunching, but there's really like length, and we're making an arc with the crown of the head as we come up. And then release back down. We'll take the strap again to the left heel this time and extend that leg up towards the ceiling. Easy in the arms, the shoulders. And then release the strap, point and flex through the left foot. And circles, one direction and the other direction. Good, and then squeeze the toes and spread the toes. Squeeze the toes and spread the toes. And then point, and as if somebody's pulling on the left big toe, lengthening that leg. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen as you engage the core strength. It's not too hard on your back as you come down. And when that left leg reaches the floor, again, you can separate the legs a little, just give them a shake out. Take the arms to your sides, palms turned up. And pause here, rest here, Shavasana. If the legs extended for this period of time is not good for your lower back, if it causes you any pain or discomfort, then you're just going to bend the knees, take the soles of the feet to the floor. The most important part of our practice, a few minutes of silence and stillness here. Really practicing what we're practicing is complete surrender of effort and allowing all the work that we've done in our practice to just settle into the nervous system and resonate within. I'm here, the divine calls. I'm so close. In the clouds of confusion, I'm here in the clarity of vision. Look for me, watch for me. In clouds and in fire with subtle signs and extraordinary visions, I will guide you. I will lift up lights to remind you that no matter how far away you are, how lost, how unsure, how broken, I will help you return to presence. I will help you find your way. Begin to deepen the breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Begin to make your way up toward a seated position. As we close our practice, it has been our practice to sing together the liturgy of Achenu Kol Beit Yisrael in a prayer for the Chatufim, for the hostages, that they be released. Our colleague who's on today, Cantor Galita Dun Cohen, shared with me a beautiful, beautiful arrangement of Achenu that I want to play for us today as our closing practice. We can watch and listen and sing along as well. Just a little bit of introduction for it. Tamar Kedem Siman Tov and Sagi Dekel Chen began a youth village for musicians at the Gaza border in 2014. On October 7th, Tamar and her entire family were murdered, and Sagi was taken hostage. She's still hostage in Gaza. This video was made by alumni of their school, and you'll see this explanation, but I wanted to just give it to you ahead of time. It's so, so beautiful and unique. So here it is, Achenu Kol Beit Yisrael.
One, two, one, two. Achenu kol beit Yisrael, Achenu kol beit Yisrael, הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. Go שיבוד לגאולה השתה בעגלה ובזמן קריב השתה בעגלה ובזמן קריב.
Hey guys, with Loom.
I have watched this video 5 times. It's made me cry every single time. And if you heard at the end, et kulam, et kulam, et kulam, all of them, achshav, 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 now, now, now. That's what we pray. Et kulam, achshav, hashta bagala, uvizman kariv. Venomar, amen. Thank you all for practicing today. So important to show up for yourselves, for our community to practice. Really glad you're here.